Upasna. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome, Nitya. Thank you for
Mhm.
having us. Okay, guys. So, can we start? Yeah.
Sure, sure.
First, we'll cover the eligibility criteria for both of. Okay, so shall I go first?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so eligibility criteria for Microsoft was that you must have a 7 plus CGPA,
Mm.
and all the branches were allowed, be it mechanical, software, or electronics. So that's it.
So I guess Nitika has covered it all, but other than that, also I guess there was a criteria. There was no such criteria on backlogs as such. So if you have any backlogs or anything, they wouldn't really be asking for that.
Okay, guys. My next question is how you prepared for, like, specifically Microsoft or for all the internships, and whatever you'd like to discuss, or which sheet you followed, and all those things inclined towards DSA. Yeah, Nitya, would you like to go first?
All right. So I wasn't preparing specifically for Microsoft. It was just our intern season coming up. So I was following DSA and catching up with my skills, but it wasn't, my preparation wasn't specifically for Microsoft. Um, as for the DSA resources, I followed content from Java Point, GLG, and because I'm a Java developer and a person who writes DSA in Java, so I was following YouTube step coding channel as well. Other than that, I had a Udemy course as well. And as for the sheets, the take you forward sheets were the ones I was following.
um, Coming over, I in my first year I was following the Coding Ninja's course on C++ and basics to DSA. So I've completed that first. Then I shifted on to Lead Code. I practiced questions over there. I gave some contest on CodeChef as well and on Lead Code. And talking about the specific sheet, I used to follow the Stivers SDE sheet,
Yeah.
and I would suggest you to do the same. That first you complete on your basics, and then move on to Lead Code and do some sheet. Like, even if you are doing Love Bubba, that is also good, but personally I prefer Stiver, since I what I found was that 70% of the questions asked in the interview were from the Stivers A to Z sheet. Okay, guys. Now coming to your resume part, how you made it, and what are the tips from your side, particularly for resume?
So for resume, I followed basically there are a few steps to every resume, and the most important one is to have a one-page resume. And the thing is, people do mess up a lot on this. So the one-page resume was not only structured on your experience and education, but also try to add in your, certifications or maybe skills and positions of responsibility. So the tips here would be, I mean, if you're a second or third year undergrad, do not put in your hobbies that I like to watch movies or like, let's say, playing chess. This doesn't really cater to the place you're applying for. So instead, have a position of responsibility section where you can say that, okay, I work for the event management team somewhere, or maybe let's say you are the tech lead at the Rangna, something like that. Other than that, I would like to point out you can ask your seniors, a few of them, to review and give your points. One of my seniors suggested that I do a quick resume review on resume worded. So basically, that scores your DSA and gives it a rank from 1 to 100. So the thing is, the more stats you add, that okay, so this is the number of big bugs I fixed, and all of that aspects. When you add to your resume, the resume worded scores you higher. So one quick tip would be that as well. Other than that, I would I'm not in the favor of adding your picture in your resume, or let's say you are adding, hey, I'm Nitya Pasrija, I am this, and that. So that
About section.
introduction paragraph, so that introduction paragraph is not something I'm in favor of. Also, of course, the way you name your resume, do not say it like resume number 15, resume this. Instead, just write your name, Nitya Pasrija, underscore your college name if you're applying on campus. So it was Nitya Pasrija underscore IGDTU. That was the nomenclature as well. So these little things really set you apart.
Yeah, I would like to add to that, to make your resume on overly, like, it helps
Hmm.
a lot. It looks more professional. People, what they do is I'm just so Sorry for the sorry. Yeah, so what they do is they make it on Google Docs or Microsoft Word, so that
Yeah.
looks a bit shabby, so you should not do that. And moreover, the talking about that ATS part, you can check on the websites, ATS, if your resume is ATS friendly or not, so you must check that. And talking about project is one of the most important sections of
Projects.
the resume. So you must ensure that at least one good project you are mentioning in your resume. And as in many interviews I've seen, and even in my interview, they have asked me about my projects, and they do ask in your
Yeah, they
resume.
do.
This project section is very important. So one major project and one minor project, it could be a sudoku game or something. Personally, I had three projects which were built during the hackathon, so it is very important that you take participate in various hackathons and hackathons. Not only it adds to your position of responsibility in the resume, but it also give you a good project, like it provides you some good problem statement to work on, some good technical skills that you have added to your resume. So yeah. And as my friend said, that you must not put in your photograph into a resume until
Yeah.
and unless you have asked to do so. It saves a lot of space basically. You have to put in everything in entire one page, so you make sure you put in maximum achievement as you can. It always gives an edge. That's it.
Also, I would like to add a little more upon this. When you add any link to your project, let's say a GitHub link which redirects there, or maybe you're just adding your socials like LinkedIn or your Gmail, your Twitter account. So just make sure that those links are clickable and
Yeah,
in the PDF format as well, that they just redirect you directly rather than it just being a dummy link.
yeah, try to host them as well. If you have
Yeah.
hosted your project, that looks much nicer than such raw GitHub links.
Okay, guys. Next part is your interview experience. Both of us will have different, yeah. So discuss that.
Right. So I guess the on-campus internship experience would be a bit shorter compared to the off-campus one. So basically, I'll just describe it on with the timeline. So firstly, we had a session with Microsoft, and the thing was, it was more of a meet the company talk. So basically, the people from Microsoft took this whole session and they talked about the work-life culture and how they are doing their work there, how the logistics work, and basically an experience of itself if you get selected, how exactly your internship or let's say placement would look like there. So once we had that, the next stage was your resume getting shortlisted. This was basically a cutoff from people who are below 7 do not get a chance to go ahead with the online test, but the other ones do. And once you clear this round, you get an online test. So the online test had about, I guess, two questions. And once you do that and you clear that, uh, next you get scheduled for round three and four, which were the interview stages. So this took about 3 to 4 days. And once that was done, in a week or so, we had a group made with all the people who got selected for the round two and three. And these interview rounds were scheduled a week later. So we had the interviews from 9 to 5, and the first round there was a technical round. So basically, there was a one-to-one contact with the HR team member, and they would give us DSA questions and asked about some OOPS concepts. So that and also the OS ones. So a few that were asked from me were threading, I guess, threading and what else? So the DSA question. It's been a really long time, so it's like hard to remember right now. But other than that, something related to linked list. So basically reversing it from K nodes, and there was something about a quiz XOR question. So that was my first round, and apart from that, of course, there was OS concept. So basically, what are virtual functions? What are threading? What is multi-threading? Basically, all those. What is a process and what is a thread? Differences like that. And then we proceeded to the HR round, which was HR/technical round. So people got asked what would be your strengths to do that. This is basically an in general get to know how fit you would be in a workplace environment kind of a place, kind of a round. Also, this is the round where they focus most on your resume. So they just had it opened up and they were asking me what you had in your resume. So, quick tip, do not write something that you do not know in your resume. So, they were asking me about my hackathon wins because that was under the achievement section. And they also asked me about my outreach internship that was going on at that time. So, we discussed that. Again, there were a few OS questions here and there. And because I had mentioned my tech stack to be React, so there were a few questions regarding that as well. Once we wrapped up, there was the basic ask questions about what are your strengths and what are your um, weaknesses and stuff like that. After that, you are asking the interviewer some questions regarding their experience at Microsoft, and all of that once got wrapped up. Then we were all eagerly waiting for the results, and sooner or later, the next year, I got my internship later. Yeah.
Okay, talking about the off-campus one, the interview experience for the off-campus. So, I think the process was just the same as the on-campus one up till the online assessment round. So we were having that resume shortlisting, then the CGPA shortlisting, and then we proceeded on to the online assessment. So yeah, it was a kind of drive two or drive three for the Microsoft that was considered as off-campus one. Basically, what they do is that some companies take in your online assessment scores and consider you for off-campus opportunities. So they do
Mm,
approach you for off-campus one. Do take it seriously that you are giving your OA, like you have completely focused and giving your OA your best. So that was the thing, and I got an email from I think University India recruitment team, that is for the Microsoft ones. So I got an email that your interview has been scheduled after these many days. So yeah, in my interview, talking about my interview round, so there were two rounds, and in the first round I was asked about my project, that I have to explain my project,
okay.
and then they move on to the coding part. So they gave me two questions, and in the 45 minutes or I think 1 hour time, you have to completely code them from the scratch. They will
Mm,
provide you a Codility link, and you have to code both the solutions. So I think both the question, one was from the binary search part in the A to Z Stiver list. It was there in the Stiver sheet, and another was also there in the Stiver sheet, but actually what happened was that I wasn't able to code it fully. So I mentioned certain functionalities of the code, like it was about reversing a linked list, and then we have to find the middle, and then we have to merge the linked
okay.
list. So that was the question. So I was able to code up till the middle and the reversing part, but I wasn't able to merge that. But I was even halfway through, so he told me to, okay, but we have assessed you, now you can wait for the next round. At approximately 4 o'clock that same day, the first round was scheduled at 11 a.m. probably. And
Mm,
on the same day, at about 4 o'clock, I get another call from the recruiter. So she told me that are having your next round in another half an hour or 1 hour or so. So just be prepared for that. In the next round, it was a bit difficult one, since it was a combination of technical and HR, and it went, I think, above 1 hour. So it was like
yeah.
1 hour 50 minutes or 1 hour 30 minutes. So they did ask me about some HR questions. They asked me about my general life, my personal life, and she, first of all, she made to code a certain question which was nowhere. Basically, you have to use in your brains, and uh, it was something related to real life, like you have certain amount of treadmills and you have to allocate these many people. So I used the
Mm,
greedy approach, and then I used the optimal thing, and then she told me you can code it up. So I just went through. So I think these approaches you should be taking, that you have to go with the brute approach first, then the better approach, and then the optimal approach. So this is the pattern that you must follow while giving your solutions to coding questions. So yeah, this was it. Then we had the HR round, and I think a few days after then, probably 15-20 days, so I got a mail that you are selected, and that was it.
Okay, guys. One thing I forgot to ask: what was the pattern of the OA? Like there were any aptitude-based questions, logical reasoning, or just the coding questions?
No, they were just two coding questions, and there was a certain time limit, I guess 1 hour or something.
I guess it was 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Okay, huh.
Yeah. And there
Nice.
were, of course, test cases you had to pass. So,
Yeah, there were hidden test cases as well. So you have to make sure that you have your optimal code. So even if it's like order of n square and it's working fine for you, that particular test cases, there may be some hidden test cases that it may fail.
Yeah.
So you have to take in consideration that your code must work for all the provided test cases. They do have that constraint, so you have to check in, you have to fit in the constraints and then check for the time complexity that they do fit in for those constraints.
Okay. Last thing I would like to ask, do's and don'ts from your side.
I guess the do's would be like take good care of your OS and OOPS concepts as well, because apart from DSA, in an interview question, they can ask you that. So
Yeah.
keep that up to date. A don't from my side would be, I guess, do not be impatient with the whole process because they have many applicants. So a big don't would be to not go and ask, how was my interview? Do you think I would get selected? Like, just have some patience and confidence, and they'll reach out.
Yeah. Do's can be that practice well. I would say that practice is the ultimate key to success. And do not be disheartened that
Hmm.
sometimes you see yourself failing 30 companies, but the 31st company you have cracked it. So the failure is a part, it's a part of success. Basically it gives you another motivation. Failure is really important for me. I just gave 2 3 interviews in other companies as well, and I have given an interview in Amazon. So there was a very he put up a very hard question, a lead code hard question, so I wasn't able to do that. And I was really disheartened after that because I thought that this is the opportunity. I have cracked all the rounds, but see, the destiny takes you somewhere where you have never thought of. So just practice, just remain calm throughout your journey, focus, and do more and more questions, and
Hmm.
try to get a better approach. And for don'ts, I would say that sometimes what we do is we give 15 seconds, 15 10 15 minutes to a question, and we just move on to the next part and go on seeing the solution for that. But I would suggest is that do given a lot of time to the question, try to get a solution first. At least it is a
Yeah.
brute solution, then you have to go with the brute solution, go code it, check it if it works or not, give time to a particular question. See, people what they do is, I have done 500 600 questions and I'm not getting selected. So number of questions is just not a criteria, you can say. It's the concept that really matters, that you have to be very clear on your concepts. And as she said that oops tbms and various other concepts, you have to be clear with your computer fundamentals. So this is also, and you must know about your projects as well.